from Jesus.
Today's word is reciprocity. Reciprocity. Don't ask me to do a damn thing that you wouldn't do for me.
A fool and his money shall soon part. Hello everyone, I hope all is well. Now, just in case you have not been in the loop, I'll give you a brief synopsis of what has been happening with simple-minded Brian McKnight. Now, simple-minded Senile Brian McKnight finally decided to come out and defend what people have been saying about him abandoning his biological children, and is now acting like his pure and chaste wife's kids, his new wife's kids, are now his. Now, his biological kids claimed that he abandoned them, and then he posted tweets that clearly speak to disdain and dislike for his children, and I think this is more dislike for himself, and then went on to confirm with his arrogance that what the internet trolls were implying was true, and that was that he was a good dad, in quotations, some 7 years ago, because that was the last time he actually tweeted about his biological children. So in his mind, that should suffice.
Brian McKnight here. There's been a lot of discussion online lately about how I talk about my family on social media. Typically, I prefer not to give attention to the internet trolls.
Yes, he's speaking to you people who have made him a millionaire.
But now my family is being harassed online and accosted in public, apparently because some people can't handle seeing my happily ever after. Coming after me is one thing, but the moment you come after my wife and our children, it's another story, because even more important to me than defending my name is defending and protecting them.
I'm sure their biological father must think this man is a fool.
I want to address some of these recent discussions. There is a very simple reason why I post about some of my children on social media and not others. The children that I do not currently have relationships with, I don't post about them.
Now, which good father would say this? Who would come out in public to say such a foul thing?
Instead, I post about the children with whom I do have relationships, with whom I am proud of. I never abandoned anyone. Our estrangement was mutual, but those posts,
The mutual estrangement that only he knew of?
made any roads towards reconciliation and acknowledging them a dead issue. And I changed my will the next day. I've spent the last 30 plus years building a recognized, respectable name, and ironically, there are still people out there who are trying to smear my name while still carrying it, hoping to use it for their own benefit. I make absolutely no apologies for naming my infant son Brian. I want him and the world to know that he is the one who is my true legacy.
Now, allegedly, this child will be the third Brian McKnight, because he also has a Brian McKnight Jr. as his son and his grandson.
So I'll be over here, continuing to love and protect my wife and our children as we continue to love our life. As far as my daughter is concerned, her mother, if you look back at my Instagram, she was a part of this family too, with Jack and Julie and Leilani and myself. And unfortunately, along the way, a couple years ago, I got wind that there was an older cousin who was above 18 who was quite possibly having sex with her.
Now, why would a father come on the internet to speak on something so sensitive? Why? And he's a good father. Okay.
So I called, as a father should, to the state office for children's affairs there in Arizona, and I never heard anything back. But the next thing that her mother did was to block all of us from her social media, from her phone, and completely estranged her from us. So what that told me was they didn't want me to be involved in her life that way. So to see the post that she said, considering that her mother only had a child with me for money in the first place, and I'll reiterate this, I have not missed a child support payment. She goes to one of the most incredible private schools in Arizona. So I don't know where this is all coming from, but I thought that I needed to let everybody know that there's another side to this story. You can choose to believe what you want. I thought that I would lay it out there for you. Anything that I say is actual and factual. All you have to do is Google Brian McKnight and Sons, and you'll see us singing all over YouTube. Go back and look at my Instagram.
I'm flabbergasted. Now, after all the venom and disdain spewed by this person, I'll say this. I do believe that what is happening with Brian McKnight is when he falls out with the mothers of the children, of his children, he hates the mothers and then he hates the children. And then his money becomes the major issue, right? Because remember, he said that he believed that his daughter's mother got with him just for the money. Now, this man who's supposed to be in control of his mental faculties allowed someone to manipulate him into having a child, and now he's mad. But you know, one thing I want him to know is that karma has a 360-degree run. This man is a fool. Now, you know, I listened to him speak on his children and what he's done for them and so on. Now, I found, especially in the black community, life lessons. But why does life lessons always have to be hard ones? Because you had no shoes, your children shouldn't either. I would think that you did what you did, or you're doing what you're doing, so that your children should not have to experience what you did. But apparently, these people pass down their trauma and therefore makes life so difficult for their children. Now, I believe as a parent, you should create the environment for your children to strive. Okay? Teaching them work ethic will shape them into this person you would want to see. You understand? And it's going to help them along their life's journey. And for as long as you would have set that foundation, self-development will take place. But it is always about struggle and pain in the black family. Ridiculous. And it doesn't matter how grown your children are. They are still your children. Now listen, I am saying that Brian McKnight has to be senile because it should be the only excuse for his behavior. And it is kind of like a self-imposed type of senile due to his selfish and heartless ways that has turned him into a fool of a man. This man's own hand will slap him very soon. He's so masochistic. Why would you do this? To what end? What does he hope, or what is he hoping to achieve by being this nasty and by having so much venom and so filled with disdain for his biological children? Now, come to think of it, judging from his disgusting behavior and him doubling down and staying steadfast in what he has said and what he believes, I shudder to think of how miserable he must have made that his first wife. Think of it. Because this is not someone who could just come up and say something like this. This has to come from an inner self, an inner place, somewhere deep. This is who he is. You piss him off, and he's nasty, and he goes for the jugular. And when he does that, he doesn't care who it is, because it was so easy for him to make those disparaging remarks about his daughter. Brian McKnight is evil. This is coming from an evil place. A very evil man. No, because he thought that the best thing to do at this point would be to come out and speak so condescendingly to people with that smirk on his face. The people he has labeled internet trolls will have a field day with his ass. Now, as always, Let's continue this conversation down in the comment section and wait for his pure and chaste wife to divorce him because it's inevitable, and claim emotional and mental abuse because he's leaving so much evidence online due to his vindictive ways that it can come back to haunt him. And listen, Brian McKnight is diabolical. You know, his energy is so off. Just looking at him makes me uncomfortable. This guy would off his family and then go out to have drinks with his friends and tell them that his family's on vacation. That is his energy. So if I were his wife, I would sleep with one eye open.
I said what I said.
As always, stay safe and be self-aware, and subscribe for more snippets of wisdom and real talk. See you in the next video.